Hello, my name is Preeti and I'm a knitter in Toronto. Today I'm going to talk all about my projects to date. But before I jump into my projects, I'm going to talk about what I'm wearing. So right now I'm wearing the Eva cardigan by Petite Knit. So the Eva cardigan is a contiguous sleeve sweater. I had to think about that. Cardigan that's knit on 4mm needles. It has it has this raglan feature. So it's been about a year since I made this, but I understand that it's called a contiguous sleeve, and I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but it's meant to kind of sit like really properly on the shoulder, so that really when you pick up to do the sleeves, you've already kind of done a lot of it. And what I mean is when you've put your stitches on hold in order to keep working on the body of the cardigan, you've done a good chunk of the sleeve at the top. So that's what I mean by when you pick up for sleeves, you've kind of done a good section of it. One of the hallmarks of this cardigan is the rib band, which is a 2x2 ribbing here that you pick up and knit all the way around, and then you just do a regular sewn bind off. No, not a sewn, where you bind off one after the other. The most simplest bind off you can do, which is great because makes the project go faster, and it really doesn't make a difference in terms of how it looks overall. And it also has the ribbing, 2x2 ribbing on the sleeve, which is I think about 4 inches. And I made this, like I said, last year while I was working on another Petite Knit cardigan that was a little bit more complex. So I wanted to make this in order, because it was far more simple. So that's what I did, and I think I overall like it, but some of the feedback that I've had about this is that it is quite oversized, and I think I made the extra small, and it's still just a bit loosey-goosey. And so whereas I've seen when other people wear theirs, it looks a little bit more structured or fitted, kind of like a professor kind of vibe. Whereas on me, I think it looks a little too casual. And I know I wore this once when we were at work and I was helping my boss do interviews, and I kind of regretted wearing this because I think it gave off a very casual vibe, which you don't always want to do necessarily in an interview. This is just something that I remember particularly about this cardigan. And then I have these buttons and they don't match. I kind of tried to alternate them. Sorry, the 4th button, which I'm going to show you now, matches up. Oh, sorry. These two match, and then these two match. So they're from Dollarama here in Canada. You can get a huge bag of assorted buttons. 100 buttons is a lot, and they all are in the black shade range. Not fully black, but in that kind of shade range. And then usually there's about 4, at least there's 2 of each. Anyway, that's that about the buttons. And then the yarn. So the yarn is Drops Lima, which is an alpaca wool blend. It's a DK weight, and it can be a little bit on the itchier side. And I think what I've discovered now from using a lot of drops is that it depends on the color. And it could be, I know that I don't think it's necessarily the color that makes a material more itchy or not, but maybe it's the way the dye interacts with the wool. I'm not sure, but I've noticed that certain colors are less itchy than lighter colors, for some reason, are less itchy than more saturated colors. That's my experience to date. I don't know that for a fact. This is just what I've noticed so far. But yeah, I do, like I said, overall, I do like it. It's on the casual side, but it works. So that's enough about that, enough about the Eva cardigan. let me talk to you about my first and only finished object. 1 second. All right, so here is the final Here is the final Lakes Pullover by Ozetta, and it's finally finished and it's now blocked. And overall, I think it looks really good. I would say it's got a huge hem here. That's 4 inches. And the sleeves also have a really long ribbing component. And yeah, I think the effect of blocking it really made a difference, because I had like this shelf situation that was happening here, and I thought it looked kind of funny. I was hoping that it would kind of help hide my pickup, which was a little bit messy, and I think it does look a lot better, but I think this is something that I should have just done a little bit more neatly in the first place. I was struggling with the pickup of the stitches along the side, but that's okay. The neck grew, so it's, you know, it's a bit on the looser side, and I will probably have to put some elastic thread through it. So she asks you to do an elastic, well, it's a pickup where you pick up 2 for every 1 stitch, so it's not like overly tight, which I appreciate, because you don't want necessarily a neckband that's really tight, but it is on the looser side. So, you know, once again, we have like quite a big oversized garment, and I made the second size because I was referencing the designer Ozetta, who is about my height. She looks like she has a much smaller frame, but she made the size small, and so then I thought, well, and I should at least do the size small based on, you know, what I was interpreting from the picture. But I really think I should have made an extra small, because her frame probably suited the oversized look, and on me it just doesn't work. And anyway, long story short, I should have made the smallest size just to get a little bit less ease. But overall, it's like, I'm just pointing out some of the criticism, but overall it is really nice. And, you know, we're in the end of May, almost June, so in theory I shouldn't really need to wear this. And I think what I'll do is in September, or, you know, when we have some cold days, which we're still having, if I find that I don't feel comfortable wearing this sweater, I will definitely give it to somebody who I think will suit it much better. But, you know, I'm glad I made it, but I don't think I would make it again. I think I was thinking that I would make it again, but I'm not so sure that this is like the right overall style for me. I think you probably know what I mean, but it did turn out good. It didn't turn out bad. It just didn't turn out great. So yeah, I mean, the yarn itself I think turned out really nice. Like, I do like, it's not itchy. It has a nice marling. This is the Patton's Classic Wool Worsted, which is 100% wool, like non-superwash wool. And I've mentioned in my last couple of videos that I got from Michael's on sale. And I do like the yarn. I think it's a good, like, affordable worsted weight type of yarn. So say you could use it in place of, maybe you could use it in place of Pure Gint. I've never used Pure Gint in a garment yet. I do have it with the intentions of making a project, but I haven't actually used it. But I know it's on the heavier DK side. So maybe you could use this instead, or you could definitely use this in place of Lima. So Drops Lima is a DK weight yarn, which I think is, I would say it's thinner. This is worsted. So, and Nepal is more Aran. So something in between. You could definitely, you could sub this in, is what I'm trying to say, on a 5mm needle project. But yeah, I'm glad I made it. I'm glad I blocked it. I'm glad that it kind of bounced back, because while it was blocking, it was growing quite a bit. I'm glad I tried the project. I won't be making it again. and we'll see how this kind of wears over time. So now I'm going to show you my works in project, but I'm going to switch back to my other sweater. 1 second. All right, I'm back. So I'm going to talk to you about the Vivi cardigan, and I've made a lot of good progress so far. Let's see if I can do it justice. And I will show you the back. I think it looks so nice. I think it looks really, really nice. The Vivi cardigan, yes, is a pattern by Sari Nordland, and it features cables everywhere. You've got the big cable, and then you've got these small cables that marry each other, and then you've got this, like I've been calling it, the funky stitch, which is that column there, which is very easy to do. And then you've got reverse stockinette everywhere else. Can you see that? And I'm using, what am I using? I'm using Knitting for Olive, merino and soft silk mohair in the colors Bordeaux, and I've achieved so much with just the first skeins of yarn, which I love. You know what I would say though, I have tried it on since I've joined under the arms, and it is snug. So I really hope that it feels snug because of the cables that shrink things in, because it's snug. Like, I just don't know that I will be able to comfortably wear something underneath it, because I've tried it on and it's, yeah. This is a chronic problem I've heard I'm beginning to pick up on with Sari Nordland, that the projects tend to be smaller in comparison to other projects or other designers that we're maybe that we know better, like Petite Knit. So Petite Knit, her projects come out with generally a certain size or an expected level of ease with sizes that you're comfortable with. So for example, I will make an extra small or small with Petite Knit, and I generally know how it's going to go. Usually small. You just know what you're getting. But with Sari Nordland, because I'm starting to make more of her patterns, her extra small or small will come out smaller than expected, whereas Petite Knit will come out bigger sometimes than expected. And so that's a little frustrating, but it's not the designer's fault. It's just a difference, maybe something you could pick up if you do a proper gauge swatch, which I think I mentioned in my last video. I struggle figuring the gauge when it comes to textured patterns, and I often just want to jump into the project. I did go up a needle size, so she uses a 3.5, or she recommends a 3.5 millimeter needle, and I am using a 4 millimeter, and I'm still coming out small. I'm doing the second size, and I'm kind of regretting that. Maybe I should have made the third size. I think the only reason I didn't, because I was worried about the yardage and the yarn amounts. So we'll just see how it goes. You know, it's not a deal breaker where I'm at right now, but it's still beautiful. In terms of the construction, it is a drop shoulder design, and where you pick up sleeves, the front and the back, you work those sections up, and then you join underneath the armholes. And yeah, it just works up really, really easily. Like, this is one of the first times where I'm making a pattern or a textured pattern where I don't feel like I need to look at the each row, like in the pattern or the chart is what I'm trying to say. I do find that it's far more intuitive, and I really appreciate that. And it could be like more experience, and it could be that this is easier to read the knitting. But speaking of reading your knitting, it's a darker color, And so when you're knitting, say using, you know, artificial light or in the darker hours of the day, which I have been lately because I don't have as much daytime, really I don't have much at all, to knit, that I'm finding my eyes are feeling a little bit more strained, so I should be a little bit, you know, more careful with that. But the darker yarn does mean it's a little bit harder to see the yarn, but it's still like, it's a gorgeous color. I'm so glad I picked it. I know I'm gonna love this. I think in my last video I also said that, oh, I want to drag this project out, it's so much fun, and I still think it's fun, but I don't want to drag it out. I think I might be hitting 4 weeks, and you know, there's been time in between where I haven't worked on it at all for days, and I might not be touching this for another week, or like, yeah, there might be about a bit of a break on this because of just reasons. And so yeah, this project will drag out, but I mean, we're supposed to be entering summer, and so I shouldn't have a need for it. But I just really do recommend the Vivi cardigan. I haven't heard too many people talking about it yet. It could just be what I'm seeing so far, but I think this is up there with the book club cardigan. It's almost even more beautiful, I think. I love both. So about the book club cardigan, whenever I do wear it, I do get a lot of gasps, like, wow. I don't get comments on stuff like this, but maybe because it just looks normal, you know? Anyway, that's that about the Vivi cardigan. I think the next time I see you, I'll be done the body. Maybe I'll have picked up a sleeve. Let's see. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this so far. Another project I have put on the needles is the Cumulus O-neck. And I'll show you what I have so far. Just trying to twist the stitches. Here we are. I have joined in the round, and I'm doing my, I'm just working on the raglan increases. It's a little hard to see. Oops. I'm trying to show you the front. But the Cumulus T is a pattern that I think this is the 3rd time I'm making it. The first time I made it, I used Lion Brand Kobu yarn or Trubu, one of them. I think it was Trubu. It's 100% bamboo, and it is beautiful to look at. It's got a bit of a shiny texture. It does not make a good Cumulus tee, so don't recommend that. Then I made the Cumulus V-neck using Sandnes Garn Tin Line, also on 3mm needles, and I made the V-neck, and it turned out fine. I think I mentioned that I was having a lot of rowing out and laddering, and it's not a forgiving yarn. This is pure silk, which is now the 2nd or 3rd time, depending on the ball or skein of yarn that I'm using, it. This is probably the last, it's on its last legs. I don't think I'll be able to rip it out again and try to make something else with it. Here it is. This is 2 balls probably of the pure silk. And so the first time I used the pure silk was on the Kutar camisole, Kutar top by Sari Nordland, and I attempted to make it 2 years ago. It's a complex lace pattern. If you're brand new to lace design, it did not look good, and it was very complex to make. And so I ended up ripping it out last year, and I bought another skein so that I had 3 skeins, and I made the anchor tee. And if you watched all the things I made by Petite Knit, or my review of them, that one was a bit of a bust too. It grew a lot. I didn't even actually wear it. It just was a big just an oversized floppy, just didn't work. Anyway, so now I'm making the Cumulus T O-neck on 3mm needles, and I you know what? I really like making the pattern in the raglan. It's kind of soothing. And the yarn this go around is kind of fun to, work with. And on the metal needles, it's got gliding a little bit for me kind of nicely. So I'm enjoying it. And in terms of like expectations that it's going to be something that I'm going to wear a lot, or yeah, maybe I don't know if I'll necessarily wear it all the time, but I am enjoying the process. And I'm excited for it to get to a place where I'm just kind of knitting in the round without the raglan increases, although that is engaging too. But yeah, I just, I just felt like putting this on the needles, and so I did. And I think I just did this in the last week or so. And here's part of the cake of yarn. I still have to wind the rest of it. So I'll do that probably when I'm getting closer to shrinking this down. And like, I think just in terms of like a process knit, just a fun, relaxing type of knit, this is what this is. So I'm happy to be working on it. Now I'll show you my next WIP. Okay, and finally today I casted on the Poppy Tee by Petite Knit. Who else? I'm just working on the back where I'm just at the stage where I'm gonna have to pick up for the left and the right shoulders. So I am using Drops Flora in this like strawberry color, and I'm excited to have this on the needles and just kind of work my way through it. The Poppy Tee is, I think it's called English tailoring. The way is the design structure of it, and she uses Cardiff cashmere in hers, I think in the one that she samples. And she also suggests you can use like Knitting for Olive merino plus a mohair, or Sandnes Garn merino plus a mohair, or the Sunday yarn. But I'm using Drops Flora held single because I have it in stash, and the Drops Flora is a heavier fingering weight yarn. Maybe you could even consider it a very light sport weight yarn. And so, and because I'm a little bit of a tighter knitter, I am okay with like, the gauge. And so, whereas I could have possibly gone down a needle size, so the pattern asks for 3.5 millimeters. And I did do a gauge swatch, believe it or not, on a 3.25, but the needle that I have, the length of it is quite short, so it would be a bit of an uncomfortable experience. And I'm okay with it being a little bit gapey. Like, I'm gonna also make it a long sleeve type of tee. So I'm kind of not necessarily aiming for what the pattern is saying. I'm hoping for something in that ballpark, and I want it to be like long sleeves, like I said, and I want it just to be kind of like a lightweight sweater. So if it's a little bit airy, that's okay. And so I just casted it on with the goal of getting it into the round maybe in the next couple of days, and just kind of plugging away at it with the skein that I have while I'm kind of away for a while. And I love the color, it's so nice. And yeah, that's my plan for this project, the Petite Knit Poppy Tee. That is all I have to speak about. I have been working on some small kind of gifts, but not really anything too significant to chat about. And what do I have planned next? Can't think of what I have planned next, but maybe in my next video I'll talk about some summer knitting plans, or just knits that I plan to knit over the summer, or maybe actually I'm not sure. Anyway, if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. I've really enjoyed talking about my knits. If you have anything that you're working on right now, please do let me know in the comments section. That's it. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day.